The stream is live and start whenever. Bildar. Oh, that's Franklin then. Yep. I say I did. And ourselves. Can you take on Gidget after you kill it, though? Hey, you stopped me, and then you went and cut down some trees yourself. Wasn't the forest crying? But only Gidget heard it. We are monsters. Yep. Oh, I'm gonna go talk to Rindle about renting out the forge. Getting that all lit up and starting working on that armor. Oh, on a what? I guess I'll come to that. I guess that's kind of important. Rindle, oh no, go to Bildar. Hashtag get me sponsored.
Cry again. Let's go. We're all alive. We're on a mission.
I mean, Michael might be dead.
Don't say that.
Forest.
I got that spell. I can send it whenever I want to.
Just make
Plenty of time.
Gidget cry on cue. Just say the word forest.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
only
but
forest.
it's not that bad now. She got to bury him and say goodbye officially, so she's healing, okay?
Yeah, but Thorward's still fresh.
I was gonna say, I just like to imagine the party like thinking of creative ways to avoid saying the word forest.
Oh, we
Boy,
have to go
these
into
huge
the...
woods are great.
I love this dry jungle.
Man, this is a good sea of trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your walk to the hut is very uneventful. Fortunately.
On the way, I'm gonna put my longsword in Wolfgar's handy haversack thing and work on getting my sheath ready to accommodate the greatsword.
What she said.
Yep. Just figured I'd give an update on that.
Yeah, someone had to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you find yourselves face to face with that familiar wooden door.
Classic
And-
role playing.
Like always, Dusty head pokes out a window, and the door swings open.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Hi, Bildar, we're back again.
We
No,
got the
good
moon
to see you.
crystals. Who has the moon crystals? We didn't leave them in Brett, did we?
I probably have them. Don't I?
Hope it's on your sheet.
Oh, and the
I don't
gift.
have them.
Yes, I have them. I hand over the moon crystal and the fish.
He smiles and takes a big bite out of the salmon, and kind of turns the moonstone over in his hands, and you can kind of hear him muttering under his breath, "Oh yes, this will work nicely."
How many uses do you get out of a moonstone? I ask.
He kind of looks up at you, sort of deep in thought, and it sort of takes him a couple of moments to process what you asked him, and he goes, "Oh yeah, only one."
Yeah, right there, Bildar. I seem a little bit distracted.
Thinking deeply.
If I remember right, they're like 30,000 or no, like 1,000 gold or something.
Yeah, they were really expensive to buy.
Better make some good shit happen.
You know, we're like 30,000 gold in this guy's debt, right?
Whatever.
Or however much that was.
I mean,
You guys are.
it's not like we haven't offered
Yeah.
to do stuff for him. We have offered to do stuff for him, right?
Sure. Let's go.
I mean, I know Michael never did.
I don't
Although
That's not surprising.
I think I did at one point offer to go raid his tower for him.
for him.
Yeah.
For
For
Yeah, you know, in case he needed some stuff from his tower brought back to his hut. You know.
Definitely.
Mm.
Yeah. So again, you see him kind of go over to the table, and again, it's been cleaned off, and right across its surface is the large map of the sort of the known continent, and the same one that's surrounding us right now. And he sort of stands behind it, and again he has sort of the gold chain with the plumb bob hanging up the bottom, and he begins swinging it and chanting the words that you heard him before mutter. As he's doing this, his brow kind of furrows very deeply. You're not quite sure. Maybe your memory's fuzzy, but it doesn't seem like he furrowed his brow quite as much last time he did this. And swinging the plumb bob in a large arc, it almost seems like it's struggling to move through the air. It's still forced out the amount it would be if you were spinning it normally, but it seems like it's fighting almost like a current. And his brow continues to furrow. you're kind of drawn to his eyes. The pupils and the corneas of his eyes shrink to just a tiny dot, sort of filling his eye with the white. And after a few more moments of sort of intense muttering and brow furrowing, his pupils and corneas sort of burst, almost like firework, filling the entirety of his eye now with black. And kind of in time with that happening, electrical sparks begin arcing out of the cuffs of his sleeves, sort of working their way down the chain, and even leaving little black marks on the map. From the collar of his robes, a wispy steam starts to sort of kind of vent out. And it's at this point that you're all pretty sure that this didn't happen last time. Something seems to be wrong. And Bildar continues for another couple of moments before kind of letting out a gasp and closing his eyes. When they open, they've returned to normal. And the electrical arcing has stopped. And he kind of leans forward and takes a few deep breaths. And he says, someone's blocking. He's like, a few more, just really heavy, ragged breaths. He kind of rubs his forehead and he says, one moment, I have just the thing, and he begins rummaging through the crates and boxes and sort of bags and things that line the walls of this room, and kind of looking over the things on the shelves, as he's clearly searching for something. After a few moments, from what looks to be sort of a ragged pillowcase, like there's stains and it's got a hole in it, he produces a very, very ornate kind of mahogany wood box. In the wood grain are like flecks of silver, and inlaid in the lid of the box, in what appears to be a ruby. Not individual rubies, mind you, but like someone took a sheet of ruby and carved this out of it, is the sort of head of like a Western-style dragon. And as he sets the box down on the table, kind of rubbing the corners of it, still breathing kind of heavily, he leans in close and appears to be whispering to the box before placing his hand on the top. When he removes his hand, the ruby engraving or inlay has started to sort of faintly glow, and after a few moments of sort of pulsating, what appears to be, is the tiny head of a gold dragon sort of kind of rises up out of the top of the box, and it's motionless, and it's about the size of maybe like a cabinet knob. And indeed, it looks like a knob. The bone furls and like kind of like the frill around the neck of the dragon sort of makes the shape of a knob, and indeed he grabs it and lifts it up, pulling the top off of the box. Attached to the underside of the lid is could try drawing it, but it sort of looks like the spine of a fish. Draw it over here, so I think I can draw small over here. Yep. So coming off the bottom of the lid, dragon would be up here. Oh, jeez.
Uh-oh.
Got too close to the sun there. There we go. So the dragon's head would be up here, and at the bottom is sort of looks like a fish spine, kind of like this. and the little points get narrower and narrower, and then taper into a point. And of course, it's repeated on the other side. Too lazy to finish it. Wrapped around that is a golden chain, and as he pulls the lid up further, there's a very pointy, ivory-like. It looks like a plumb bob. It's a much more ornate version of the plumb bob that he had before. It almost looks like a tooth, and around the top of it, where the chain connects, is a very, very intricately cast sort of gold crown covered in points. And the chain comes up from the center, as you'd expect. And he slowly unwraps the chain from the bone piece, and the fish skeleton thing, and kind of stretches it out in his hands, holding the tooth part in his hand kind of tightly, and he's mumbling something, just inaudibly. As he does so, his hand glows very brightly in sort of a blue teal color. After a few moments of this, he releases the tooth, holding the top of the chain, and lets it swing freely. Carrying that swing on, he again goes to the map, and again returns to chanting the things that he was chanting before. This time, his brow isn't furrowed quite as hard, and there aren't electrical sparks coming out from his sleeves. About 5 or 6 minutes of this pass, and he lowers his arm that was holding the chain, and as he does so, the point of the dragon's tooth lands on the map. Letting out a deep sigh, he says, here's where you'll find the boy.
Nice, thanks. That was
Nothing
What now?
like Val's overwhelming charisma.
Are you okay though? That was really
Yeah,
intense.
that looked like it could have been somewhat painful with the the little lightning and all that.
He kind of smiles at you, and he holds up the moon crystal, and it has changed greatly from when you brought it to him. Before, where you could see the moon in it, it's now totally black, and then it even looks almost like a chunk of obsidian rather than the clean, clear crystal that it was once.
Oh. Wow. Are you hurt at all? Do you need to be healed?
He shakes his head and kind of leans over and pats your shoulder and says, "No, I'll be fine."
Do you want some raspberries?
He looks up to you and smiles and says, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
All right, I'll pull out my rather large sack of raspberries.
Wolfgar's gonna pull out his bottle of gin and find a do you have a clean cup somewhere around here?
Or
Yeah.
I could clean it for you.
I don't want to hand you a magical item that could kill you.
He sees the bottle of gin and says, "Oh yes," and reaches behind him on a shelf and pulls down a very nicely carved crystal cup.
I will pour him a full glass.
Yeah.
Oh damn!
wow.
Very generous.
He looks like he needs it.
Don't drink too much though. I know from experience.
Can we please see what happens when we have a drunk wizard?
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Fireballs. Fireballs everywhere. It really wouldn't be much different from Torbert.
Yeah, let's not.
There it goes. Now it's
Oh.
flat.
Here, let me break it.
It's already pretty broke.
Is it still broken?
Yeah. I don't know why it broke.
DB rules. We're back to this now.
Oh man, I wonder who wrote that.
Huh.
Oh.
Would that break the game?
Mm.
It's a solid maybe.
Uh,
Doesn't seem to have though. Still roll dice.
Oh,
the figurines don't explode when you set them on there.
And that one, I think it's broken.
Oh, I haven't done my
At least
check
I
of
can
the day.
re-roll those.
Alright, everybody look real close.
Oh no. Wait.
Get out of that magnifying glass.
Yeah. Aaron is here. Where?
You know, around here.
Yeah.
It's just
that's...
south of there. Hey, we can draw on it though.
It's normal.
That's all we need to do. Is just...
Perfect.
He's so tiny.
right. Well, don't keep me from delaying the story. So we know where he is.
Put it on the
Yeah.
map.
Bityard warns you again that it's not, an exact location, but should get you in the ballpark.
Oh, that's a loud plane.
So whereabouts is it? Like close to a certain city or?
It's right about there.
What?
What?
Where?
You know,
Made a
there.
dot. Come
I don't.
Doesn't help.
It's in
Uh,
green.
All right, believe him. It is.
Let me
Oh,
pull up the big map on my over here.
I think Digit's gonna try to make some tea.
can make some raspberry tea,
Yeah, put some
please.
raspberries
I need to get rid of these raspberries.
in. Yeah.
It
They're
should be
gonna rot.
drawable now,
It is drawable.
Where's my
but I think we lost our ability to have
erase?
maps.
Oh no. Well, if you zoom in real close, you can still see it.
Well, we can come over to the other map over here.
Or we just look
The
at the
one in the
background.
corner.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
could just look at the background.
Okay, where are your hands at?
Oh my god.
So it's north of the capital? Or north of the tower?
I can't look at that. You're gonna have to just draw it.
I'll
Post
do
it.
it.
There's a
like,
slightly
Yeah.
bigger map. Oh, here, I could probably do that.
can you just put a dot
Table.
in MS Paint and like put it in
Oh.
tabletop or something?
Oh,
Oh.
Looks promising, but then again, it's just white, so I don't know.
It's the mood.
Where do I have map saved? Oh, I will go look for the map quick.
I'm the map. I'm the map.
We got the teapot from Forest, right?
Yes, I have Forest Teapot.
Does it work?
It's really beat up.
I can probably fix that.
Beat up brass tea kettle. Yep. You want
That's
the folded up copper piece too?
No.
No.
Hold on to that. I'm gonna brew some pear tea with some raspberries.
1 second.
Good for calming the nerves.
You say so.
I do say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I found the map.
Is it just me, or is your D20 completely black day?
It is completely
Uh,
black.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I made it black so you wouldn't see the numbers.
Just like Michael's heart.
Oh.
Whoa,
Well, I just...
that was
There
a
we go.
very needless jab at Michael.
I never
It's
looked at
upside
it.
down, but
Hey, look, it's the map with a tiny map in it. Oh, oh. Never mind.
I just gonna have the tiny map still.
It's trying its best.
And they're facing two different directions.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Ooh.
Well, I uploaded it, but I can also do it here.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, alright. That's circled castle looking thing. Unless
Neat.
Wolfgar, you know something about that.
I do.
there's no names on this. Oh, on this one there is. Or there's two.
So, are we gonna talk here in the presence of the wizard, or you not wanting to do that? Ulfgar.
We can talk in front of the wizard, I think.
Okay.
Yes, we trust him.
So after studying the map a little bit longer, that's an orcish stronghold.
Oh,
It's really dangerous to go traveling anywhere near that. I mean,
so that's where we're gonna.
even I avoid it.
Oh,
It is
stronghold.
Hmm.
a nasty place filled with scum and villainy.
Oh,
Earth Kel might say evil.
evil.
Nerd.
Did somebody say evil?
So, I mean,
We should definitely make sure we're prepared to go into that kind of place.
yeah,
Okay.
but I mean that could be the only tie to the legitimate claim to the throne. So, I don't think there's any way to avoid going there.
Yeah, of course we have to go. We need to save him.
Well,
Yeah, that too.
I'm not saying we don't go. I'm saying that we make sure we're
we're
ready to go in.
ready to go. All right. Well, what do you think is the best course of action for preparation? How do you're the expert here. How do you even prepare to storm an orc stronghold?
with an army,
The
but short of an army, quietly and with a plan.
plans I can do, quiet, not my strong suit.
I might be able to help you with that, with a spell.
Mm-mm. Should we attempt to try to recruit some allies to help us fight the place first, or do you think that we got enough firepower on our own?
Well, if it would take some swords off my hands, not that I'm complaining, I love using them, but I can only use so many weapons at a time. That might give us an upper hand.
Yeah. I mean, we have enough arms for an army. It's just the soldiers we're lacking.
Do we have any friends or any mercenaries willing to?
Well, I don't tend to make it my business to talk to mercenaries, but I could
Dude.
try writing back to the temple and see if maybe any of the other paladins there might be able to come and help us out. It would take them a while to get here.
Do we know any sleeveys? We need armies.
Oh,
Good lord. Are there any commodity temples in Tingaria?
I don't know.
What?
Are there any commodity temples in Tingaria?
If you've made any, there are, yeah.
Well, I mean, I haven't personally.
I was assuming no, and that's partly why Gidget came here.
Okay.
Kamaru's not very well known.
Right. Well, sometimes you can find her temples in surprising places, like
Yeah.
Wigston.
Maybe like a day's ride away from Wigston. Yeah.
Do you know of any in Slurn? That's fairly close.
Uh,
I imagine Gidget would be the authority on this. I don't read too much.
This is the first time I've traveled outside of, home. I don't,
Yeah,
I don't know.
you're the one that always got your nose in the book.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
compared to me.
I'm still pretty new to being part of the faith. Most of my books were about bugs.
Oh, that explains it. Okay. Well, if you guys want me to write back to Garnus, I can. But it might be a long shot to even get one of them to help us, because this isn't necessarily, this fight itself isn't a necessity, although I might be able to convince them by telling them that, the fate of the entire country might hang in the balance. But we could always just go and try to hire some mercs. They tend to be unsavory company, though.
Oh,
Unsavory.
What's the nearest town? Would it be Restrum?
Hmm?
Is Restrum the nearest town to the stronghold? Or
probably Alamdur would be closer.
that's a fairly big city?
Yeah, that's a pretty big city. Lots of elves.
Is that where Val is from?
No.
No? Oh.
I was from where was I from? Brookhaven? Yeah.
well, elves don't like orcs, right? Maybe they'd be willing to help us.
Or
Yeah.
maybe there's someone who knows a way into the fortress. Was it always orc fortress? Or was it something before?
Are you asking to make a history check?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Ooh,
That is 23.
While you're not sure how, you know so much of Tangaria's history, especially with the orcs. Yeah, that indeed. That's been an orc stronghold for a very, very long time.
what say you, Bildar? You've been quiet this whole time. Do you have any insight or advice?
Hmm. Well, quite a dangerous mission. If you're going there to rescue someone.
Yeah. That's why I'm asking for advice.
Yeah, kind of figured. Uh, hmm. Sieging, such a place would take many days. Feel like you would risk them just executing their captor.
Oh no,
Captor.
Hmm.
we can't have that. So, yeah, if we can find a way to sneak in, we just we don't really want to fight all of the orcs, right? We just want Aaron.
Ideally, we can get in there, break him out, and get out without ever being noticed. However, I personally am not that great at not being noticed. And Ulfgar carries around a literal arsenal of metal weapons, which tend to make a little bit of noise. So that leaves.
They're mostly in the bag, and I'm pretty sure the bag muffles
Oh, yeah.
them at least.
I forget that they're not constantly strapped to you anymore.
I could fly in and fly out. Bam.
Yeah, but that leaves you going in either alone or alone with Gidget, and I don't like either of those options.
I can hide pretty
Protector.
well.
Yeah, you guys are all like clinky and clangy.
I mean, I'd be down to send you guys in stealthed and then have myself, Ulfgar, and whatever allies we can muster cause a diversion to make them all come and find us and attack us until you guys can get in and out, and then we can try to escape. But if that place is as heavily manned as Ulfgar says, then that's basically a suicide mission.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Is it possible to talk to the orcs and make a deal with them?
Diplomacy? That doesn't exist.
Bildar kind of snorts.
I know.
Ulfgar, how well does diplomacy work with orcs in your experience?
The only diplomacy they understand is at a knife point.
There you go.
Hmm.
But if they have what is a duke's son? Not a prince.
His
If they
Baron's
have the
son.
boy, they must have made a deal with someone somewhere along the line.
Well, with the Baron dead, technically that is the Baron.
Yeah.
That's true. Which means that it's almost certain that the region, and as an extension, the Black Rose, is also involved, and possibly even has some manpower besides the orcs there.
Oh yeah, the Black Rose might be there.
In which case, we're dealing with trained mage hunters, which makes things a lot more difficult for Val. And
Could we disguise ourselves, Black Rose,
Oh.
and go in that way?
Oh God.
not a bad idea, actually.
I have my hat.
Camo fedora time.
Or I could disguise myself as an orc.
Can you speak orc if they? Well,
No.
some of them.
And that's the thing.
Mm,
Can
and
you
again,
make yourself a lot taller?
I can make myself taller.
also that
What if
again
Wolfgar sits on
leaves
your
our plan
shoulders?
sending you along.
Oh my god, that would be so beautiful. I want that plan to succeed.
Ideally, our plan will involve all of us being there so that we can have each other's backs. I don't like the idea of one of us going in alone.
Right.
Even splitting us in half makes me uneasy.
Right.
You're so nervous. What could happen?
It's just a bunch of
You know,
big
just
dumb
whole
orcs.
party fight.
The immortal words of Jeremy Clarkson. What could possibly go wrong?
We could all
Everything.
die.
Go big or go home. Let's do it.
You all worry so much. Not to worry, warts.
It's not as if Scott wants to kill us.
It doesn't matter if he wants to or not. It can still happen.
I think that we should
That's a
also,
good way to think about it.
I think we should also take into consideration that whoever we might bring along as allies, if we decide to do that, will also want some say in the planning. Because I don't know about you guys, but a mission this dangerous, I wouldn't want to just go in on blind faith.
Does anyone know
Isn't that
what the old Duke relationship was with the elves? Were they in good standing terms?
Are any of us actually from Tingaria?
Nope.
I don't think so.
Michael might know.
Oh shit.
Ah.
That's funny. Did not think about that.
They're just a wandering band of.
Murder hobos.
Yeah.
No. I'm a pilgrim. I'm on a pilgrimage to spread
You
the
say
faith
so.
of commodity.
murder?
I'm here to try to, keep Gidget alive. Which means not having her killed in an orc fortress. Which
Yeah.
means we're gonna need a good plan and a lot of firepower.
Well, if we go to the town with the elves, we could at least try and go there and talk and see what's going on.
True.
Get information.
Yeah. That trip could easily influence our planning. I think it might be
If
better to
really-
go there first.
If it really is too dangerous, we'll figure it out.
I think we're lacking information in general.
Mm-hmm.
Away
Yeah.
from
What?
information for too far. Brep is a little out of the way for keeping tabs on what the region.
Mhm.
Have we ever gone into something half cocked? Come on.
Oh, you wanted to go to Brep to get information?
No,
What?
Oh, I was gonna say.
it was out of the way for information
Right.
as far as
Yeah.
trade.
Well, I vote we go to Alumder and send Elf Boy in to try to get some info from the elves.
Alumdur.
See how they like what?
What?
Or just see try to find out what they think of the Baron, and as an extension, his son, who is now the Baron, and also see if we can't drum up interest in a potential ally. I mean, I think it might be fair to say that nobody's really a fan of the Regent around here. He kind of disbanded all policing. I'm sure the criminals love him, but
Oh,
he disbanded
it
all.
wasn't the regent that did that.
Who disbanded the police force?
The person that took over for the king that died. 2 people of power died. The Tengarian one is seemingly unrelated to the main king that died.
Okay.
The main king was the one that had the police force.
Yeah.
But there's no local.
Right. It was
enforcement.
because
Okay.
of that force that Tengaria didn't need one.
I see. And this guy's taken over as like a local warlord, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Now I understand the plot of this entire campaign. All right.
Let's throw shit at the wall and see what sticks.
Just for planning, roughly how long would it take to resize the armor? Have the flint or the plate armor?
Probably maybe 2 days.
I need 2 days to fix up that armor. Gidget could probably at least that for training little squirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better plan for 3 days.
Um.
You didn't see any coal at the forge when you were there last time.
What are your guys' thoughts on me riding back to Wigston and see if there's anybody there who might be able to give us information, although that's kind of a long shot, or more of a long shot than getting someone to come help us, but also see if anyone would be interested in coming and helping us.
Got a way to send a message.
We're in a fairly well-traveled trade town. I'm sure I could find a career.
Or a bard.
That too.
Mhm.
I could tell them to send their response to a temple in Alumder that I'm sure I know all about. Or at least I could ask the Pelor lady here. Pelor seems to be all over the place.
Yeah. It's very common.
I mean, it doesn't hurt asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I doubt they'd know anything.
Yeah, I don't foresee us getting any information, but we might be able to at least get one of my friends from the temple possibly come and help us.
Yeah.
It is a
fellow
really
paladins-
dangerous mission, though, so
Paladins are warriors, so maybe.
yeah. We never back down from a fight, except for when it might kill us, and this one definitely might kill us. However, the whole region kind of is depending on this kid.
Is Gidget planning to start a temple in Restrum? Oh, curious.
No.
Oh,
Gidget's thing is she's technically kind of an acolyte. In the eyes of the temple. She was going to do this foraging, come back and say, she did good things and spread the faith, and she decide if she's going to stay at the temple or leave it and pursue her father's business instead. So she doesn't really know. But so far, no plans on a temple. Especially since Restrum's kind of small and there's already a temple to Pelor.
Yeah.
She wouldn't want to step on,
But there's a
anyone's
lot,
toes.
a lot of travelers.
Yeah, true.
Well, if we manage to run all the orcs out of this stronghold, it might be a good place to set up a temple in the future.
Yeah. It's also good land for raising bees.
It's right on the coast, so could even get travelers coming through there. Although they'd probably be more likely to go to one of the actual coastal cities, like Ghent or Lumber.
Yeah. And orcs are kind of evil.
Yeah, it'd be a nice turnaround for that place. That's, of course, assuming that your foraging doesn't get you killed.
Yep, that's true. It's always a possibility.
The foraging is
Back.
Welcome back.
The foraging is just the name for her like pilgrimage.
Oh.
That's what we call it back at the temple.
Yeah.
You had to be there. It was real funny.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
it's an inside thing. You wouldn't get it.
the term is kind of comes from like bees out in the wild. They forage for food, right? That's kind of what she's doing, and she's going to bring it back to the hive. In this case, it's like she's doing good deeds and maybe forming relationships. That maybe
Eats
is
and butt
used-
juice.
Yeah.
It-
So,
Can Kamadu be Beyonce? She's the queen bee.
God damn it.
yeah, she's pretty fabulous.
I think she's pretty great.
And bees have rings on their butts.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What?
Thick butts too.
That song.
I don't know.
Kamadu is thick.
I don't know. I don't know any Beyonce songs.
All right.
Sorry.
Not even.
Okay. Well, are we ready to say our goodbyes to Builder then?
Yep.
Goodbye, Builder.
Good night, Moon.
He kind of holds up a half-empty glass of gin and nods at you.
Go ahead and top it off before we leave.
Also,
Mm,
poured
I'm not gonna say anything about it, but I'm just gonna leave those raspberries there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably be going bad soon anyway. I'm not gonna be able to eat them all.
Raspberries and
some
gin.
Fresh fruit. Well, I made him tea too. Drink some tea. Don't get too drunk.
He smiled.
Well, I'm gonna go back and get coal ordered for the forge.
So you're heading back to the restaurant?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
And Gidget should start working on training Little Squirt.
And I get to do the most strenuous thing. Write a letter.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm gonna fucking sleep.
Hey, you could help me with Little Squirt if you want.
Okay. Sounds fun.
Your trip back.
Oh, trip back. Oh boy.
Do we run into the boot goblins again?
Maybe. No.
Just
Or is it the boot dragon this time?
The boot mimic. It just looks like a boot until you touch it.
Then it
Of course,
sticks
now
to you.
I've ruined that. That was such a great idea. Damn.
That definitely would have got me too.
Uh,
Pick up the boot.
It allows you to try it on, and then it clamps onto your foot.
Oh man, that's devious.
da, da, da. No, you know what? Your trip back is peaceful. However, about midway back to the restaurant, just sudden downpour of rain. It's real bad, and it delays you guys by about 20 minutes.
Aw, shucks.
One of you gets dysentery. No.
God.
oh,
Welcome to
calendar.
D&D Oregon Trail Edition.
You can, like remove or cure disease, can't you?
Best
No.
names.
Well-
I can't right now, but yeah.
I have lesser inspiration right now. I can remove disease.
You break a wagon axle.
Our food
Aw,
was
shucks.
running out.
Are we
Little
even
Timmy is
using a
dying.
wagon?
I just figured we would have walked.
Yeah, we're probably walking.
No, you did,
horses.
but you still broke a wagon axle.
It wasn't our wagon. Someone's gonna be really upset.
Oh, you
There's-
know what?
There's a stream we have to ford.
We didn't like show off our hats.
Oh, I'm sure you noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I could have like spun around and like muddled. Oh well, I'll say I did. You didn't really say.
In our hearts, you did.
Okay.
No time for that. Little Timmy is dying of dysentery. We must get back to the restroom.
Oh no, not little Timmy.
Yeah, you guys make it back in one piece, though considerably wetter than when you left.
Good.
Wolfgar looks miserable wet.
Yeah. Drowned
Blue
to death.
hair clung to his chest.
I'll give him my shield to put over his head to kind of use as an umbrella. It should be plenty large enough.
The loud pinging drives everyone a little bit insane.
Oh yeah, Val's wearing my hat still, so he might be kind of dry on his head. If it's,
Yeah. Kind of acts as an umbrella.
Yeah.
Were the hats that you
A
guys
bit too
got
small.
wide brimmed, pointy ones?
Presumably.
You guys
That's
might-
what I asked for.
Oh, were they? I was thinking more of like dunce.
All the water is channeled to your face.
Oh, shit.
Aw. Gidget is blind.
Once we get back to town, I'm gonna go to the temple and ask the priestess about any known temples or religious gatherings in Alumder.
Could ask if there's any paladins of Palor that might be interested in helping.
I heed Ulfgar's advice, and I do that too.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Get you with a bug. Anyway, go on. I'm sorry.
Okay. I will do that. Yeah, you enter the temple and the priestess rather, I guess. Fine. Whatever. She's cleaning the pews as you enter.
Trying to remember her name. Thought it was in my notes.
Elise?
Elise, it's nice to see you again in this horrible weather. I was gonna say on this fine day, but that doesn't really work.
Yeah,
She,
they probably don't like the rain because the whole sun thing.
She kind of looks up at you sort of quizzically and says, have we met?
Yeah, I was here a couple of weeks ago. I brought you some books.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
From
From the Kamadu Temple in Wigston.
what's your name again?
Gabby is
Right.
will work just fine.
Yeah, I'll have to write that down. Anyway, what can I do for you?
I was hoping to pick your brain for a couple of minutes. Do you know of any paladins of Palor that might be residing relatively close to here and or relatively close to Alumder?
Well, let's see. Near restroom, not really. A few passed through on their way to Caldera when they were sort of asked to leave Ardinia, but none have passed by in some time. We don't have, or well, we never really had much need for a full-time paladin here, so I never asked for one.
Right.
Hindsight being what it is, perhaps I should have.
Hmm.
Here, Alamdur, I would say probably not. The elves, they don't worship Pelor, so
I did not know that. It's good to know. Do you know of any temples in Alumdur that there might be that I might be able to ask around at? I'm sort of hoping to find an ally on an important mission.
Well, if there's any temples there, they would they'd be to I think Seldarine. How you say it? I don't know. My Elvish is very good. But I don't know what they keep as far as warriors go. You know, elves are all about the forest and such. So, well, I mean, most elves are. The elves in Alamdur are more about money, but
Okay.
Must be high elves then.
Yeah.
I don't get that reference.
Okay. All right. Well,
Poor Gabby.
if if you happen to see any paladins or any warriors really that you think would have the best interests of all of Tangaria in their hearts, please tell them that I'm looking for allies and that I will be in Alumdur. I'm leaving in 3 days' time, and I really need some help.
This seems kind of important. What's going on?
Nothing.
I'll tell you, but you have to promise to keep your word. This can be very sensitive if it befalls the wrong ears.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell her in kind of a hushed voice about the stronghold and Mos Eisley. Is that how you say it? Regardless, I'm gonna tell her about the Orca stronghold and our plans for the rescue, or for a rescue mission. I'm not gonna tell her exactly who it is that we're rescuing. I'm just gonna tell her that it's someone extremely important.
Right. Well, she's definitely gonna ask you who. Also, shame on you for not knowing that that's Mos Eisley spaceport.
Oh,
The most
Star
wretched-
Wars?
I don't. That is honestly completely slipped my. I don't.
Next
Now that I know that it's
we
a
are
Star
going to
Wars
watch
reference,
Star Wars.
now that I know that it's a Star Wars reference, I'm a little bit upset with myself, but I honestly completely slips me. Okay, anyway, I'll go ahead and tell her who it is we're trying to rescue.
She looks a little confused at first, and then it sort of dawns on her, you know. And she goes, "Do you really think that'll help?"
I think it's a start, and I think that somebody needs to do something, and that boy is the only legitimate, real heir to any sort of power around here. And so if anybody's going to be able to politically wrestle power back to not malicious forces, I think that he's who we should rally around.
But the region already controls the military. Well, what little military there is.
Right, but usually the political power's military force isn't the rebellion. That's usually what the rebellion aims to fight, and
We need to
If
form
we're
an
going-
alliance.
Yeah. If anybody's going to stage a rebellion, I think that boy needs to be the face of it.
I suppose you yeah. Okay. Well, I wish you luck, and I will definitely pass on your message.
Thank you. I'm putting a lot of well, for lack of a better term, faith in you. That you'll keep the more sensitive parts of this conversation to yourself. Anyone that you might be able to send my way, don't. I ask you not to tell them the exact nature of our mission, but tell them that if they wish to help us, then everything will be explained once they find us.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you, Elise. I think that's all.
Okay. She goes back to cleaning pews.
All right. I'm gonna head out. Was the rest of the party with me during that? Or were you guys off doing your own thing?
We were off doing our
Well,
own
I
thing.
hope they were all just awkwardly standing
Yeah,
behind
I was
her.
about to say that would have been kind of weird. I'm gonna
Standing
go off
in
to
the
find Gidget.
doorway. Bye.
Yeah, just kind of
If I
tapping
would
your
have been
toes.
there, I would have said stuff because I mean I saved her life, and I helped clean her church. And
I feel like you probably would have been a little less suspicious.
think I'm helping Gidget with her bug if that's what she's doing.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find her and make sure that little squirt hasn't eaten her yet.
You could
Fine.
hunt something as a snack.
Actually,
Bits of meat.
I'm not gonna go find Gidget. I'm gonna go back to the Frosty Mug and I'm gonna start working on that letter.
Ah, that's right. Letter. So me and Val, totally safe. Let me get my ring information up here because I'm probably gonna use it.
Yeah. I'd like to think that every time Gidget like takes a break and maybe like a nap, Val like throws sticks on the dirt pile and watches little squirt snap them in half.
I'm more like I'm sitting in like a beach chair with like a magazine, just throwing sticks on the pile.
Yeah.
Got an umbrella. Drink with ice.
Gidget's
Yeah.
still excited and you're like, that's good.
I'm just here to make sure you don't die.
Yeah. So
Nine
how
to
is the training going? Like, am I getting anywhere?
Probably, yeah. You have that ring, so
Hmm?
that should definitely be helping.
Alright. Okay. So, that's what I've been doing. Training little squirt. Heart.
I Eldritch blast the ground if he gets too close to her.
Well, don't startle him too much. Don't you have anything that's not so flashy? Asking a warlock.
R.I.P. Flashy Potion.
I have minor illusion I could use to lure him away.
Ooh. What'd you lure him with? Like food?
Yeah, like a dead goat or something, or chicken.
Well, you should make it look alive and move around.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. Actually,
You can be helping with the training.
that's a good idea. I'll teach him to. Maybe that's how we'll lead him into battle.
Have a just
Yeah.
tie a piece of chicken on some string on the end of a stick.
Yeah. Good idea.
Throw bacon grease at our enemies.
Little salt and pepper.
Tie pork chops around their necks.
Get him, little squirt.
Get him.
I could use suggestion. Oh, wait, never mind. You can't because he doesn't understand language.
Yeah, he's also got the intelligence of 1. So
One. I'm hoping I can find something to boost his intelligence someday.
also, if you ever do get him to talk, he oh man, who is that really great singer / trumpet player? Man, super deep voice. Can't think of his name. Louis Armstrong. Yeah, little squirt. If he ever gets a voice, it is the voice of Louis Armstrong.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
Either that or Tiny Tim.
Chuck
No, definitely Louis
Mangione.
Armstrong. Yeah. Oh man, this is Darth Vader.
Okay.
Wolfgar, you had
I-
plan.
yes. Talking to Rindle about renting out his forge.
He definitely seems open to the idea, though he kind of points at the empty coal bins and tells you that he's gonna have to order some.
How long and how much will it cost me?
At the how long, he just sort of kind of his stays the same. But as soon as you say how much, he begins stroking his beard, and he comes up with the figure of 20 gold. And he says I can have the gold or the coal here in 1 day. He kind of winks at you and says, "I know a guy."
Can I just examine his tools?
Sure.
To just make sure the forge is properly equipped to work on armor.
Definitely.
Wanna
Are you
roll for
gonna?
that?
You can, if you'd like, or you can just roll with passive perception.
Well, that's gonna be worse than 15, so we'll go with 15.
Yeah, I mean his tools are like they're in brand new overall condition, but they all have sort of a layer of surface rust, including the anvil. It's not like deep, and it probably wouldn't even leave pits, but it's definitely there. Everything's kind of stained orange. Otherwise, though, none of it looks like it's ever been used. Though it is a fully equipped forge, like everything you would expect to see at a normal sort of mid-level forge is there. It's just never. There's no wear on it at all. None of it's ever been used.
Just need some attention from Gidget.
What?
She's busy. I guess 1 day, you say?
Mm.
Like morning tomorrow or end of the day tomorrow?
He kind of furrows his brow and says, "Which is better?"
I'll give you 25 if you can get it here by morning.
He enthusiastically shakes his head and says, "Deal,"
Oh,
and holds out a hand, greasy with beard grease.
Oh.
Wolfgar is going to extend his greasy beard hand and
Oh,
he'll shake on it.
it's the dwarf equivalent of a spit shake.
Yep.
Yeah, it really is. Yep.
I
Um,
hate this.
And then I guess he's gonna spend the rest of, I'm guessing, afternoon just filing down the rust and getting the tools in tip-top shape.
Yeah, I mean, you probably only need like an especially abrasive cloth to get most of it off, and then just a thin coat of oil, maybe even from your beard.
You could also just scrub it with your beard.
I mean, you
That'd
probably
be
could.
abrasive enough.
Did we ever determine if dwarven hair in D&D is as abrasive as Vulcan's?
It's probably not quite as abrasive,
Oh.
but something like boar's hair,
Oh,
similar to that. We used a boar brush.
so not triple aught steel wool or anything.
No. Be useful though. It was.
Yeah, so I'll start cleaning stuff up and is there any like dried wood or anything that I could reheat the I'm guessing furnace?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you could definitely do that. Get it warmed up. Get a nice fire going for when the coal comes. I mean, you have to keep feeding it overnight, probably. But
well, I'd
yeah.
probably do that towards the end of the day.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then probably sleep in the forge. If that was possible. Just to keep the fire
Yeah,
hot and stoked.
seems doable. He's
I
gonna
think
give you kind of a funny look, but
we're on a time frame.
Yeah.
right.
And I'm gonna mutter something about a dwarf that doesn't forge.
Yeah.
Unheard
Pretty
of.
ridiculous.
You can't see it under all the beard hair, but he blushes a bit.
Shame.
I ship it. Oh, that blush.
Oh man.
And then I'll wait for the call.
Yeah, you do so.
It's that blue beard. No one can resist it.
Yeah. I was under a spell.
It's so exotic. Is there anything else that anyone wants to do today before tomorrow comes?
I can't think of anything. Well, if I can find a courier, then I'll send off that letter as soon as I can. But with it raining like this, I doubt I'll be able to find one that wants to go right now.
Have the merchants pulled in early with the rain?
Early.
Or...
No, if anything, they would also be late.
Oh. None of them delayed setting out due to the rain?
Oh, you mean from restaurant?
Yeah.
Probably a couple did. Yeah, just stayed into the inn or tavern and kept themselves warm.
Probably just after I threw more logs on the fire, I'd probably go over, have supper, and gossip with them.
Yeah, you do so. Any particular thing you're gossiping about?
Interested in what's going on. Any word from the capital and what the regent is doing? That kind of.
Yeah. So, at first you get a lot of shrugs because most of the merchants can't make it in Dardenia anymore. What with the trade restrictions and whatnot. But after kind of asking around a bit and plowing a few rounds, a kind of seedier merchant sort of starts talking about the goings on in the capital. And I say seedier because, on top of the fact that he's wearing sort of darker clothes than everyone else, which is, of course, sort of fantasy setting for like that guy's a bad guy. He's also got like, merchants don't really travel very well armed in general, right? Which doesn't make sense because they're merchants and they have the most. But most of them have kind of a standard belt knife, and every now and then you'll see one with like a sword. But in general, not really well armed. This dude though, he's got like a really big dagger strapped to his chest, and he has a particularly nice sword on his hip. Most of the merchants have sort of flashier swords if they have one, but you're an actual adventurer and have bought and sold weapons, and you recognize that they're kind of they're like mall katanas. They look good, but they're junk. This guy, however, is not like that. His weapons are legit, and he kind of carries the air about him of someone who knows how to use them. He's talking about the goings on in the capital and mentions that the region is bringing in more sort of like weaponry. He's bringing in more men as well, sort of like drafting them and kind of forcibly bringing them to the capital from neighboring cities and villages and things. He's also appears to have hired on some mercenaries from the north in Slurn, which everybody knows Slurn. Those guys, they party hard, and the capital is sort of kind of turning into like sort of like a camp zone for just this growing military, and he's not really privy to why that's happening. This particular merchant, though he kind of pats a healthy sized gold sack on his side and says, but it's serving me well that this is happening.
I asked him what he sells.
Yeah, as you ask him that, he kind of has a glint in his eye. And with sort of a smirk, he says, "I sell military assets."
Like small arms or big toys?
He kind of thinks on it and takes a big swig of ale and kind of like the first one, something like that.
Can I hear this conversation at all?
Are you in the inn or still at the tavern?
I'm at the tavern. Trip me up again. Alright.
Does he seem like an honest person? My insight check him.
You can insight check him, sure.
Wearing all black, has a dagger strapped to his chest. Does he seem trustworthy?
That is a 15.
Your gut kind of says no. Like, you're getting kind of, like I said, shady vibes from this guy. He deals in weaponry, and he's been dealing with the regent quite a bit. So, probably not the best.
I am going to proceed to get him super drunk.
Oh.
Are you like initiating a drinking contest, or are you just keep buying him drinks?
I am going to buy him drinks, and I'm going to have them spiked with harder alcohol.
Okay. Yeah, he seems like he's really got a lot of experience drinking. And you sort of mentally estimated that it would only take a few of these drinks to really send him over the edge and get him blitzed, but he's down probably close to a dozen big steins of ale, spiked with harder liquor, spirits even. And while he's definitely sloppy drunk, he shows no sign of passing.
Is he drunk enough to divulge more information about his dealings with the
Maybe.
oh,
Only one way to find out.
Are you trying to get them out of him?
yeah, I'm gonna try.
Are you gonna? What are you gonna say? How are you gonna do it?
Intimidate him. Pull out your axe.
Charm him.
Seduce him. That beautiful blue beard of yours.
Please seduce him.
No.
You might make Cal jealous. It's probably not a good idea.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wolfgar blushes deeply.
um, I'm just gonna start, asking like simple questions like, "Oh, I've seen the capital. It's really beautiful. It's like a great castle. Have you ever been in it?"
And yeah, he goes, oh yeah, all the time, man.
Oh,
Tapestries everywhere. It's gorgeous.
last time I was there, I noticed there's that big old gaping flaw in the defenses, though. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Damn it, Oscar!
How drunk is Wolfgar?
You mean the one covered up by just hundreds of armed men?
No, not that one. The hidden one.
No.
You
Where's
know,
that at?
it's around back.
Oh man, I've
There's
never been behind the castle.
well, it's in back, and it's in the dungeon area.
Dungeon.
Yeah,
Yeah. He kind of nudges you with his elbow, and he's like, "Why would I need to be in the dungeon, eh?"
you never brought someone in to have tortured?
Because you've been a bad boy.
Oh God.
I was just wondering if you're still awake. Yes, you are.
Oh shit. He kind of smirks at you, and says, "No, I'm a merchant. I don't handle discipline."
But you know who does, right?
I mean, I figure the regent would, right? It's his job, I assume. Maybe his little hench guy there.
Well, what's his name?
Oh, it's a good right there. Yeah. Gary?
Harry.
Graham?
Graham.
Gil? Gil, is that it? Is that what they call him? Gil? Something like that, anyway.
What is it? Gargamel?
You know, the bad guy from the Smurfs.
I love that play.
I liked the cartoon.
movies weren't great.
I bet you've seen it a few times, huh, Ulfgar?
Just
Blue
like
joke.
Beard.
Oh.
Damn, got me.
My question. How many shipments of weapons have you sent the region lately? And anything special in those?
He smiles, kind of a wry smile. It's his weapon. And he goes, this will be my 6th.
Or you just bringing in swords and armor and such, or?
He again kind of laughs at you and he goes, no.
This is silly boy.
I'm currently working over at Forge across the street, and we've been doing some weapons. But I really want to do something fancy. You bring anything fancy in lately that sparked my imagination on what to build next?
He again just kind of smirks at you and he says, no, I don't think you could make it on a forge.
Oh, come on, try me.
Oh. Magic.
He goes,
Prove me wrong.
he goes, I don't have anything with me. He says, but do you want to see my cart?
Sure.
So he sort of leads you out of the inn and around the back where the horses and carts and things are parked. And all the way at the end of this like row of carts, it's still kind of raining. By the way, it's not quite a downpour anymore, but it's kind of drizzly. There's a fog sort of hovering in the air, and the air smells fresh from the rain. At the end of the row of carts, there's a much larger cart. It's probably about twice as long as all the others, and it's good bit taller, and it's covered with like a huge canvas tarp. And as he kind of speeds up as he approaches it to get up, like before you get there, and he grabs the edge of the tarp and kind of shakes it a couple times to get some of the water off, and then yanks it down with a great deal of force, revealing a ginormous cage, just a huge, probably like maybe 40 feet long by about 8 feet across, and probably about almost 10 feet tall.
Big cart.
Yeah, it's huge. The cage is made primarily from like iron, and it's riveted together. Though where it meets the cart, there are two running the length of the cart anyway. There are two thick oak beams that it's sort of like bolted to, that are then in turn bolted to the to like the axles and stuff. Very big cart.
Is
And
there anyone else around? To
witness the cart?
Well, like, was he traveling alone, or did he have henchmen with him?
He doesn't seem to.
Wow.
Kill him. Take his stuff.
And he kind of triumphantly turns around and like with his arms spread wide, and he says, "Isn't she a beaut?" he kind of taps the side of his nose and he says, "I can almost fit 80 of them in there."
80 what?
You know.
Is there anything in the cart at the moment?
Some straw on the floor.
Hmm.
It's a lovely cage. Look at the craftsmanship on it. Go over and kind of inspect some of the joints and the rivets.
Oh no.
Ulfgar's charisma of 10 showing through.
Yeah.
Oh no.
He kind of smiles wide and he says, "Yeah, it's a great card, great card." He kind of looks at you again and he goes, "You know, he was made by dwarves, kinda."
Kind of.
Really? Which clan?
I don't know. You know, the little dark ones.
Uh,
Oh, I know of them. Aren't they great?
Yeah,
no.
they're something else, man. Mean, but they make a good cart.
I'm gonna um, hand him a bottle of. I'm gonna hand him the rest of the bottle of gin as we stand there looking at the cart.
Yeah, He takes a big swig from it and kind of hands it back to you.
I'm gonna pretend to take a of it.
Yeah. Roll a oh boy.
Wait a hand.
Performance?
Performance. There's like their deception check.
Ooh,
You devious little dwarf, you.
he's a rogue.
That's an 8.
He's not a rogue.
Nope.
Yeah, you're not totally convinced that it was convincing, the swig you took, but you can't really tell if he noticed or not.
I'm gonna hand him back the bottle.
Yeah, he kind of holds on to it, sort of like chest height, and he's really like looking at his cart now, like eyeballing it.
So, where do you get your stock from?
Uh, uh, good, a good tradesman never tells all his secrets. And he takes a swig out of the gin bottle, smiling and hiccuping.
Did he take us?
It's a good question. Did he or not?
Mm.
Roll an investigation check.
Oh, boy.
That was almost a nat 20.
I know.
That was very close.
Investigation is 7.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
You ever get anything up from by Moss Isley?
No, man. Those works are no bueno. They don't like nice cards.
Spanish is now canon.
But everybody likes a nice cart.
Not orcs, man. They're jerks.
Bunch of cart smashers.
We try to limit my exposure to orcs.
Doesn't everybody?
Trying to eat people and whatnot. Bad for business, I say.
My God.
How into examining the cart is he at the
He's definitely looking at it hard. You know, he's tipsy, so he's kind of like swaying a bit. But every now and then, like he'll reach out and grab a rivet and kind of jiggle it to see if it's loose. And he's kicked the wheel a few dozen times.
So where are you
Where are you
heading to
heading
next?
He looks at you and he smirks again and he goes, the getting spot.
Mm.
Is that a long trip for you?
Oh, not too bad. It all depends.
Damn.
At that ring X magic. I pointed at him.
Are you doing it surreptitiously or gonna?
I forgot to put my lucky ring on.
Kind of take a step back behind it, kind of ooh and ah at the cart while point the ring just out of his sight.
Yeah. Yeah. You do so, and as you do, yeah, it glows kind of faintly. Hello?
I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if my Discord had crashed.
That is wonderful day.
Wow.
Sorry.
Um,
I'm terrified of this news we're hearing.
Commodity
going-
tell. I'm sorry.
Kamadu is fabulous.
I'm gonna ask for the bottle back, and I'm gonna fake another sip.
Fake another sip or take another sip?
Fake it.
Well, you know the deal.
Fake it till you make it.
Oh, that's worse. That's way worse.
God damn it, Ulfgar.
That's a 3.
He's actually just drinking it.
At this point, I probably should just take a sip.
Yeah,
Probably
this
choke on it a
time,
little.
like you go to take a fake sip and you end up just pouring it down your face.
Into the beard.
Oh, I must have drunk an awful lot. I'm gonna hand the bottle back to him. Say, here, drink up. Finish her off.
He kind of laughs at you and I thought dwarves were good at drinking. And his eyes kind of cross as he takes another big swig out of the bottle.
This is happening at night, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Next to what appears to be a slave wagon.
Shouldn't you cover this back up?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And he kind of like squints, like he's thinking about something, and he holds his fingers to his mouth and lets out a loud whistle. And from the sort of stables behind the inn, two like really tall guys sort of like come out and they begin sort of covering the wagon back up.
Have I seen them here before, or are they with him?
Yeah, no, you've not seen them before.
You guys work for this guy? I'm gonna try to be a little drunk.
They kind of look down at you and then look at each other and shrug and kind of nod.
You might want to find him a spot to lay down. He's kind of tipsy.
They just kind of look at him and shrug.
Oh, I'm gonna. Oh, thanks for chatting and drinking with me. I'm gonna go lay down.
Okay.
Slowly walk away.
Have a good one, buddy.
You too.
And he kind of stumbles off towards the table.
With my bottle of gin, which is probably gone by now.
Probably at least pretty close to gone by now, yeah.
I will have. Yeah, I'm gonna go find everybody else and inform them of the giant slave wagon. Did 80 people? What do you can get in there?
Almost 80.
Almost.
Hmm. Have Val and Gidget come back from the camp spot, or are we staying at the camp spot where they're training or Little Squirt?
I don't know, are you?
I mean, I'd rather go back and sleep in bed.
You don't want to be near a little squirt?
I do. Alright.
What if he gets lonely?
What if he gets loose?
Yeah, we should probably stay with Little Squirt.
Alright, I'll stay camping out with Val, my buddy.
Baby Val.
What?
Oh, come on, you had to admit, you're at least creepy.
Eerie. Creepy is like stalker.
I fail to see how eerie is better, but okay.
Eerie is like
Eerie Val.
spooky. Okay, so spooky is different than creepy.
Okay.
Creepy is like stalkery.
But you said eerie.
Yeah, well, yeah. Spooky and eerie are synonyms.
You know, like the lake.
So
Eerie.
they're all
Oh,
synonyms.
like Erie, yeah.
Oh, but creepy is like weird and stalkery and maybe a little pervert.
Yeah? I mean, I feel like that fits him.
You seem to know an awful lot about this.
Okay. You know what?
It's so tempting to have Gidget ask him about the great old one, but I don't want to.
Fall
Please.
into that trap where he just mumbles on and on about nonsense for like hours.
Please do. Please do.
And like an old man in a nursing home talking about the Great War.
I haven't had the chance to express my characters.
Yeah.
Creepiness?
The full extent of his I don't know, involvement.
Devotion to a creepy old guy. Well, creepy old one.
Creepy tentacled
Big
monster thing in the
monstery.
sky.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
And
think you and Michael have the same patron.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if it's
Yeah.
the same exact patron though.
well, actually,
We know the
Michael
type.
has the watery deep ones. I have the outer gods.
Oh, right. Yours is like a crazy guy, isn't it?
Oh, there's a difference. Okay.
Yeah. My patron's like a Cthulhu type guy.
Mine is like a cosmos type space guy. There's like 3 categories in Lovecraft shit.
What's
Anyway.
Lovecraft?
Anyway, what are we doing?
We've already gotten farther into it than we needed to.
We
Oh,
got real meta.
I'm meeting up with Ulfgar, and we're presumably going to be walking back to you guys. However, if you wanted to take this time to RP some background to Gidget, then I know I won't complain.
If she asks.
Yeah, I think we'd have a little campfire and we just kind of watching after a little squirt in his little dirt pile.
Tell me a ghost story about your patron.
You know, I don't know anything about warlocks really. Like, do you have gods like clerics do?
Oh, do I have gods?
I've got all of them.
I don't really much have gods. I have cosmic tormentors.
Okay.
That sounds better.
It's less of a devotion thing and more of a
Subservience.
Remember that time you were like, I'm not evil?
It's more like
Mormonism.
how do I?
Oh man.
It's like being constantly mentally violated all the time by an entity that sort of drives you insane. I don't even know how old I am. Kind of lost track of that.
That sounds exhausting.
You know, imagine Gidget's face every time he says something. The shock and horror gets worse and worse. Like, you're not making this better.
More like
Jaw
she's
drops
like,
further.
she's like
Every-
smiling and nodding, but it's kind of awkward. She's like, yeah.
Just like grabbing a hold of her club slowly.
you know that spell I cast sometimes where it's all like black and tentacly.
Yeah.
That's what I see and feel every time I close my eyes.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
and you're happy with that?
No, I'm not happy at all. But if it in the long run achieves the purpose of ascending to godly like status, then I'm okay with it. But if ultimately I die for nothing, then well, I mean, I had a good run.
Wow. That's something.
Being a warlock of the Great Old Ones is less like a eternal worship than a power struggle between the two of you.
So you're trying to ascend to be one of the giant tentacle monsters, then?
Yes, to be an infant Great One is my ultimate goal.
Which really makes that hat make sense now, doesn't it?
Yes.
Would you be willing to do anything to have that happen?
Are you offering?
Um,
What'd you have in mind?
Oh, jeez.
well, I mean, I feel like it's the ultimate goal of any living thing to ascend to a higher plane of existence, to, live without fear or pain or anything like that.
I suppose. I never really thought that far ahead.
What brought you to Kamadu?
Don't laugh.
Okay.
Sometimes people do. But I found a bee's nest in a tree one day when I was out in the woods. Gabby actually wasn't with me for once. And they all swarmed around me and I heard a voice. And I know it was Kamado speaking to me through the bees. And
Oh,
most people didn't believe me, but Gabby did. And I knew it was my calling. So, yeah.
so you you're the is Kamadu an already established goddess, or did she spread herself through you?
You.
I mean, of course, you know, the temple's been there for, I don't know, before recorded history, I think.
Ooh.
She's a very ancient goddess. It's just the faith has shrunk down to nothing nowadays, and I'd like to try to spread the word again.
That's very noble.
That's what I want to do anyway.
I respect that.
Yeah. I don't think I really understand your patron, but
I don't
maybe,
really either.
Oh, okay, well that makes two of us. But I wish you well too in your endeavors. As off-putting as they may be.
Well, yeah, off-putting is kind of, I guess, the word for it. But
Comes with the job description.
I'm not evil. I'm entirely neutral.
You're not evil, just off-putting.
I'm just off-putting.
Just really misunderstood. Okay.
I like to be really entirely indifferent towards everything and anything. It's kind of a start to being a cosmic entity, but
Wow.
you just get caught up in things sometimes.
I would like to point
Just
out
like
this-
what?
go ahead. The similarities between Val and Gidget. They both their deities have multi-arms. They're very old, and they both hear voices. in their heads.
Kamadu actually looks like an old one if I'm looking at this picture right.
I mean, the voice thing is like a one-time thing.
I can get a
Once
picture.
she starts talking to animals, then.
Oh. Sorry, to RP. Continue.
No, it's fine. I think it's about done at this point. Well, I'm tired. I think we should rest. Had a long day of training.
Yeah. I just sort of sit here and stare into the fire.
Yeah, she's gonna scoot away a little bit and go to sleep.
You just
hold
hear
the
it.
symbol really close.
You hear kind of like just indecipherable mutters.
Oh no. I
Uh,
think you can have nightmares about black tentacles.
Ulfgar, are you filling me in on
Oh yeah,
your little excursion? Okay.
Yeah.
fully filled in. I'm gonna throw some more logs on the fire at the forge before we head out.
Alrighty.
How did Gidget's training go? Or, I mean, Little Squirt's training. Gidget's not.
Gidget's obedience training.
I mean, that's
Down,
what it
Gidget.
is. Yeah. I don't know. He didn't tell me I got bit or lost a limb or anything.
We'll have to ask him when he gets back.
Oh, did he?
Oh.
He posted
Oh.
BRB in chat.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice. I'm not even looking at the game.
Well, if he's not here, I'm gonna go grab something to drink quick.
Yeah, I'll be right
I'll
back.
be right back.
Alright. Intermission, I guess.
Intermission.
Hello? Looks like we took a break and poop.
Ready. I have salt and vinegar chips. Now,
Hello?
hello.
Hello. Take it we took a break, Pooh.
What?
I take it we took a break.
Yeah.
Sorry, my dog had to go outside.
It's fine.
She chooses the most opportune times. But I figured actually it worked out pretty good because you guys were talking. Y'all didn't need me for talking.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
6 o'clock.
I left my beanie in the kitchen, so I'll be right back. Because that's important.
My dog is now attempting to hump my foot. Which would be less weird if she wasn't a sheep. Could you not? Could you not? Thank you. Weird ass dog.
I once got humped by a giant pit bull.
Fun.
It was horrifying.
My friend said, let's say it was like an American Eskimo dog, like little tiny white poof ball. Anyway, that dog, man, that humped everything, literally everything. We were splitting wood for his dad one day, and a log like rolled off the pile into the dog's like chained in area, and it started humping the log.
Me. I'm not desperate too.
And then it humped my friend when he tried to go in to get the log. So
What?
it was pretty hilarious.
Dogs.
Alright, I'm back again, and this time I have my beanie.
Nice.
The most important thing to have when you're D&D.
Yep.
Yeah.
Comfortable headwear.
It's my thinking cap.
Ooh.
You don't wear that very often, huh?
Alright then, bud.
Oh boy.
That is rude.
R-U-D. Rude.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I didn't have my beanie on. Glad I got one sympathy chuckle out of that one.
One fake laugh.
Yeah.
And it's not even for me.
Yeah, that should really tell you something.
Yeah. Sorry.
Man, after hearing Val's description of the Great Old One, really sheds a light on Michael's character for literally actively seeking that out for months.
Well, to be fair, I don't think he knew what he was seeking out, but
And
Thought he did.
he wasn't seeking out the Great Old One specifically. He just knew that warlocks could come across power quickly and in a large quantity.
Oh, Michael.
What did you say? Whose description of the Great Old Ones?
Val's.
Oh, I thought you said something else. Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Cal?
Yeah.
Antonius? Cal and Val.
In
And
So
I'm
did
back.
my training... Oh, well,
Hey, welcome back.
how did my training go with little squirt? Like, did I make any progress?
I feel like you've made quite a bit of progress.
Okay.
Probably not quite to the point where like he comes to his name, or indeed follows commands, but he doesn't seem to be biting at you as often.
Okay. Just me? Like,
Oh yeah, definitely just you so far.
just me. Okay.
I mean, Val was throwing sticks at him, so it's kind of understandable.
On top of his dirt pile, I'd assume. Not actually throwing it at his face.
As far as you know.
One and the same.
Well,
Well, since Gidget went to sleep, I think that we should discuss Ulfgar's interaction in the morning when everybody is up and at him.
yeah.
Agreed. Let's sleep.
All
We're
right.
just staring at the fire,
Klappenstein.
muttering creepily.
I'm assuming we're gonna need to take watches since we're outside and outside of town.
Yeah, probably. Not a bad idea.
All right. Well, since
Your chance of attack is lower, but
right.
still not a terrible idea.
Since unlike one of our party members, I didn't spend the last hour drinking, I think I'll take first watch.
Yeah.
It was more than an hour.
Yeah.
You think that was an hour? Oh.
An evening, I believe.
That too.
Is it still raining?
Very lightly. Yeah.
Okay. Kind of a miserable day.
I assume I set up some tents of some kind.
Yeah.
I have a Goliath-sized blanket that we could use to make a little one for Gidget.
We'll just haul the cart out, and we'll put the canvases over the top.
There you go. Is Little Squirt still in there though? How are you keeping him contained if you're letting him in the free dirt?
That's a good point. Maybe we should make a lean-to on the side of the cart.
You maybe have a barrel, or
I don't think that Gidget would approve of us stuffing him into a barrel. I think that she might be a little bit upset with us in the morning.
little ant keg house.
For some reason, I don't think she'll see it that way.
No, but that does sound really cute.
Just a little barrel half buried in the dirt with a wooden sign on it. It's just a little squirt.
Yeah.
Fan art. Alright.
Fan art. Get on it, fishy.
What?
We need fan art. Little squirt house.
Okay.
Oh jeez.
Okay.
Good store all over again.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
on it.
gonna
We
help
have so
Wolfgar.
much time.
I'm gonna help Wolfgar construct the lean-to, and then I'll move Gidget inside of it, and then take first watch.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I don't even move.
Kind of pick her up and throw her in there.
Oh
Yeah.
God,
Sack
no!
of potatoes.
Luggage. As Serenity said before.
Like a Delta baggage handler.
I'll wad up, or not wad up my blanket, but fold up my blanket so that she's not laying on the wet
I
ground.
thought you were gonna say wad up Gidget. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, gonna crumple her in a ball, shoot it like a bat stick,
You're cracking and like sploosh noises.
and that's the end of Gidget. Hope you got a backup character day.
Honey burrito.
I do.
Roll her up in the carpet and throw her into the lake. What's the matter you? Mafia might show up. Anyway, so who's doing first watch?
I'm doing it with Gabby.
The dynamic duo.
Yeah.
Because I'm already up. And not drunk.
Except on power.
Who said anything about Ulfgar being drunk? This is a normal.
I mean, Ulfgar is just perpetually drunk. It's just that's become the new normal, so nobody really notices.
Yeah.
I haven't reached Balthazar levels though.
Yeah, he's on a whole nother pedestal.
Yeah. So you sit there around the campfire, keeping semi-cautious lookout. You're used to keeping watch like well out in the middle of nowhere. So even though you're only a short walk from town, you're still pretty um, alert, shall we say? And as you sort of keep your head on a swivel, um, you don't really hear much, to be honest. The trees make a different noise when it rains. The kind of creaking noise is different, and you do hear a lot of like dripping, but not nothing really, out of the ordinary. Anyway, um, and yeah, first watch goes pretty much without a hitch, which I think
Yeah.
everyone's probably happy about.
Gabby's still grumpy because he doesn't like the rain, but
Yeah.
I mean, Gabby's always grumpy. So.
Gabby is rarely, if ever, grumpy. Like, this is probably the first time.
Gabby's player does a really poor job of putting that across.
Yeah.
'Cause Gabby sure seems like he's always in a bad.
I tend to be grumpy.
Aw.
Gabby, on the other hand, is a very jovial fella.
You have resting grumpy face.
IRL, I actually do. So, I'll accept that.
Fix your face.
Alright, well, I'm gonna go wake Ulfgar up, and then I guess shimmy into the lean-to the best that I can.
Kind of your front or your top half is under there. Your legs are damp.
Aw.
Sort of resigned to that fact, being that you're a super tall person.
Yeah.
Could you lay under the cart? Or no?
I
Probably
don't know
not.
how that would work with the axle. Maybe.
I mean, maybe just go under the middle.
That could work.
Right under the little squirt.
All night you hear that, scratching of little tiny insect feet against the bottom of the cart.
He wants out.
Good and spoopy.
He's probably just growing restless because of Gabby's snoring.
You're annoying the egg, which in and of itself is a pretty big achievement.
The snoring, which I might add, is now right in Gidget's ear.
Yeah. Like I said, I
Yeah.
really think she's used to it.
I hope so.
Because otherwise, the other half of your night's not going to be too great.
Yep.
Well, and she's pretty zonked out anyway, right?
Yeah.
So,
I
Yeah.
think she's exhausted. You're lucky.
Anything happen on second watch?
good question, Ulfgar. You're so practical and whatnot, and ready to get the story going. Well, the first half of First Watch is very uneventful. And you start to kind of get drowsy, mostly because you're still drunk, but also just because, it's boring, right? Suddenly, though, you hear something in the brush. it starts off kind of quiet, and it's kind of like a thumping noise. It grows sort of louder, and it sounds more and more like drumming almost. But it's like someone's drumming against the ground. It's very confusing. And it gets louder and louder until it's sort of a dull roar. It almost sounds like really big hail falling in an open field or something. The sound gets louder and louder and louder, and just when you think like, oh man, maybe I should wake someone up because shit's about to get real. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rabbits kind of just hop past where you guys are tenting through the forest. Just hundreds of rabbits. And you're just kind of sat there slack-jawed watching all of these rabbits go by. Mostly because you're drunk, but also because, like, what do you even do, right? There's hundreds of rabbits. And yeah, you just sit there and watch for maybe 5 minutes, just hundreds of rabbits hopping across, paying you no attention.
Any of them come near me?
Somewhat close, but they kind of avoid the camp. They're probably a good 8 to 10 feet away from the camp.
Does this sound wake any of us up?
I don't know, does it? Probably not. Probably not. It's like I said, it's a dull thumping. It's not, it's not like a herd of deer. They're pretty light critters.
Okay.
Well, that's really bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay. Rabbit stampede.
Maybe Over should be laying off the gin.
Yeah, is this even really happening?
Well, I was
Maybe.
gonna try to catch one and feed it to Little Squirt, but
Yeah, he likes rabbits.
Your thing is a mutant. It's a monster. You literally have a pet monster.
I know. Just misunderstood.
You say so.
I do.
It's making me want a pet.
Hmm.
oh,
Get a pet rabbit. That'll go over real.
I guess I'll kind of doze off after seeing all the rabbits going. I must be real drunk.
That's sort of a counting sheep effect.
Hallucinating rabbits in the hundreds. Yeah, I'm just gonna let myself drift off to sleep.
Yeah, okay.
And then we get attacked by 3 hungry owlbears.
Good.
3?
Where
Where
rabbits?
rabbit?
5.
Were rabbits. I'm down.
Oh man.
Oh, Wallace and Gromit.
So good. That's my favorite Wallace and Gromit movie.
Such a good one.
Would
Keep
like-
hoping they'll make another.
Hey. Excellent. We take cash or credit.
Oh boy. Yeah, so you drift off asleep and everyone wakes up in the morning. The weather's improved. It's overcast, but it's not raining, so that's good.
Okay.
I'm gonna grumpily kind of wake up, stretch, and say, I'm off to fix some armor and walk into town.
Yeah, you do
Tell us.
so with a pretty severe hangover.
Were you gonna tell us about the
I guess I'll fill in the rest of the party about what Off-Guard was up to last night.
I'm gonna say Ufgar thinks that he hallucinated the rabbits.
Yeah.
Seems logical.
Yeah.
I mean, no one else woke up, so
Nope. Any signs of like rabbit parts around the
There's
car?
a good amount of poo, and
Oh.
the like forest vegetation is kind of trampled, but you kind of just chalk it up to the rain.
I didn't know rain was poo.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the poo is out of the ordinary, but the trampling.
What was Ulfgar up to last
It was one of those very rare shitstorms.
night?
Oh boy! Wow,
That's
that's
good.
inspiration. You get inspiration.
Yes. Good job. Oh man.
That's definitely deserving. Beautiful.
And rabbit poop looks like little balls
Right. Yep.
and little cocoa puffs.
Yep.
Poop.
Yep. Little smelly Cocoa Puffs.
Mm-hmm. Used to call them rabbit seeds. Don't grow
That's-
rabbits from them though.
Pretty great.
Well, after filling them in about the slave cart episode last night, I'm going to ask what your guys' opinions are on, or rather, what you think about the possibility of trying to follow that merchant and see where they're getting the slaves, which are presumably feeding the army that's growing in the capital, or if we want to continue on with our previous plan to go to Ulumder and talk to the elves.
Well, what's the most intriguing lead?
Right.
Ulumder seems like the better option if we want to get information on what's going on at Mos Eisley and try to plan that attack, or rather rescue mission as soon as possible. But the following the slave cart and finding out where he's meeting up with the Duragar to get the slaves is very valuable information, because that's presumably how they're feeding the growth of this army that they're raising in the capital.
Wait, feeding them with slaves?
Well, yeah, because the Duragar are like working as like slave traders now to
Oh, that's right.
the regent guy.
Hmm.
And the merchant last night said that the capital has basically just been turned into like a growing war camp almost. And presumably that's where they're getting the men, is from the slave trade. So if we want to get the information on that, then I think our best bet would be to follow this merchant while we have the chance. However, if you guys think it more prudent to go to Ulumder and try to get allies and information on Mos Eisley, then that might be the best course of action.
Well, the way I see it is that we have the chance to follow the cart now. So
Yeah.
we'll have the chance later to go to Alamdar and get, talk to them.
Right. I'll have to rewrite my letter and go warn Elise that we're not immediately going to Ulumder like I thought we were. However, I think it's also prudent to go and ask Ulfgar's opinion on this, since he left.
Indeed.
Right. Okay. I know it's every day we're not heading towards, Alumdar, and then work stronghold is another day that Aaron has to be there. But
Yeah. And another day that he could potentially be killed.
yeah.
Honestly, I'm baffled that the Regents even kept him alive, especially this long. It doesn't really seem like he has much use for him.
There must be a reason, so guess we'll figure that out
Yeah.
after this slave cart business.
If you think that's the most prudent course of action, then I'll put my trust in you.
Yeah. I think we should take the chance while we can.
How early in the morning was it?
You guys woke up with the sun.
I want to head back to town via where all the carts are parked.
Go along the back there.
Yeah, it's back. The big old slave wagon is still there, correct?
Yeah.
Anyone around it?
Yeah, it looks like they're getting ready to leave.
The guy's there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, are they busy doing other stuff?
Yeah, they're kind of getting the horses ready. It takes a lot of horses to haul that big heavy cart. And they're kind of still a little bit, hungover and whatnot. Well, at least one guy is. The other two aren't, but
Um, can I how noticeable would it be for a dwarf to slip under the cart?
currently
Yeah.
pretty noticeable because they're like there. You could try sneaking in.
Oh yeah, because
If
that
you-
always works great.
I mean, leave yourself at the mercy of the dice. Come on.
Yeah, the dice have been pretty good, but like, have they started hauling out the horses yet? Or
Yeah, they're hooking them up.
Are we gonna have to sabotage the cart so that Ulfgar can fix his armor?
I was thinking about sabotaging the cart no matter what. I'm just gonna go up to the guy and painfully shout, "Morning to you, my friend." Just kind of bellow it out.
He kind of winces a little bit and turns and sort of in a quiet voice says, "Good morning."
Oh, you've got a hangover? I mean,
Just a wee bit.
the owner of the inn makes a wonderful breakfast and a hangover cure. I mean, you should go try it.
Perhaps next time. We need to head out.
Oh, what direction are you heading?
He kind of smiles. Oh, about.
Bust in with my charisma.
I mean, if you guys want to catch up. Can I look over the cart and see if I can find something that I could claim is like, oh, this axle looks like it's in rough shape, or
Yeah, you can investigate it. Sure.
I'm stalling.
Oh man, this looks so bad.
Rip a big chunk of it off.
Investigation. 21.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like something that people would normally bother with, but yeah, one of the spokes has a crack in it.
You know, you got a cracked spoke here. Fine.
Kick it.
Yeah, as in like see, and then you kick it a little too hard.
Is it is it on the top or the bottom of the wheel?
It's near the top.
It's like you got a tail light out.
Roundhouse kick it.
Wow.
See, your blinker's not working. What's this?
Out of headlight fluid.
It's above Ulfgar's head, right?
Yeah.
I take it they're pretty big wheels. If that.
Yeah, it's probably about eye level.
You know, with this much weight on these wheels, I mean, something like this could ruin your day. I could quick, take it off and do a quick bracing of it with some metal that I have over in the forge if you want. Won't take me more than 45 minutes.
He kind of stumbles over and looks at it and scratches his head and he goes, well, I don't know, it doesn't look that bad.
That's what they all say. And then a mile out of town, you hit a rock and you're stuck there for hours. And then you gotta get some guy, one of your guys to take the wheel off and roll it back into town. And then a whole wheel's gotta get remade.
I don't know.
I'll tell you what.
I
I'll pay for breakfast. I'll fix the tire and get it back on and get you on the road.
Gee, that's awfully kind of you. What was your name again?
Michael Grayscale.
Let me see. What was Rindle's brother's name?
Don't know.
Oh boy.
You can say you're Susie. I know that name.
Forest.
Brother.
That's the matter.
Ender. Harder.
Andril? Something like that,
Andril?
maybe?
Oh, that sounds familiar.
What's the matter, Scott? Can you not keep track of all your NPCs at once?
Hmm.
Maybe. Get off my back! Ow!
Busted.
Yeah.
I have to
Andril.
look up notes from like day 2.
Hey, I got day 1 notes, man.
Then where's your notes on the name?
You didn't have a
I
list
didn't.
of NPCs.
I didn't deem that important. I know the sock wizard's name.
Endril Heavyhammer. Pleased to meet you.
Oh. Okay. And he kind of shakes your hand.
Well, I'm just so impressed with this cart. I mean, how could I let it go down the road with a broken tire? I mean, so impressive.
I guess. Yeah. Sure.
You go in and Arwen. You go in. You tell Arwen that
Oh boy.
Slowly starting to fall apart.
yeah.
Now the party walks up. Hey, Ulfgar.
Hey, how's it going?
Who's your new friend?
Tell her the dwarf from the forge sent you over, and she'll give you a good deal.
The blue bearded dwarf.
Actually, I'm gonna walk him in.
Oh, okay.
And
Harwin smiles and waves. Hi, Ulfgar. Oh.
Wolfgar's just his nickname. It's fine.
Does she?
They all have nicknames.
Does she do that?
No.
Oh, oh, and these people need some food. If you'll make sure to put it on my tab, the heavy hammer tab. I'd be much obliged.
I'm gonna need a roll on that one.
Oh,
Boy.
I gotta get a performance roll.
Oh,
nat
boy.
20.
Perfect.
Yeah, you
Very convincing.
flawlessly say what you said there with a kind of very subtle wink, and she just immediately recognizes what's happening and
He's a smart
smiles and says, "No problem."
Make sure it's on my tab, not my brother's, or something like that. And
I think you probably had it good enough.
oh, that's fine.
If we do-
We'll leave it at that then.
You didn't need to go to the Department of Redundancy department. Yeah. So she yells back the order and gets them cups of hot tea. And I assume you head off then?
I'll come get you when I'm all done. You guys enjoy yourselves.
He kind of excuse me. He kind of rubs his head and says, "Oh, okay."
I'm going to go remove a tire.
Are we all just standing around the forge wondering where Wolfgar went?
Wolfgar comes in rolling a tire and going, I've stalled him.
Excellent. Well, it's probably a good thing because we were hoping to follow them and find out
Yeah.
where exactly they're planning to meet the Duragar. However, I'm not so sure how to do that inconspicuously.
Is the coal here yet?
Are you going to go check?
Yes.
Then yes.
I'm going to start loading up the furnaces. I've got is there any like extra metal laying around? Like steel of any kind?
Probably not. Given that he doesn't actually use the forge for anything. You could maybe scrounge some from somewhere.
I am going to go do that. Is there everyone's left that wagon alone?
Want me to mend the spoke?
I mean, you can.
Do you,
I'm
do you
gonna-
have an extra weapon that you could smelt down and use? Like a spare dagger or something?
I was thinking about going and taking a couple rivets out of that cage.
That's a good idea.
Hmm.
Don't get caught. As a matter of fact, it might be a good idea to send Val disguised.
As me?
Well,
Or someone else?
as, I mean, as someone else, because the last thing that we want is the guy that's supposed to be fixing the cart fiddling around with the cage and purposely taking it apart and getting caught doing so.
I mean, if you say so.
I mean, unless you want to go yourself and risk blowing this entire thing.
During,
No pressure or anything.
During my inspection of the cart, did I notice, like, were they metal panels put together, like, for the cage? Or was it all, like, long pieces of iron?
Yeah, it'd be like long strips of flat bar riveted together.
Was the cart wooden on the bottom, or
Yes.
metal on the inside, though?
No, it's just wood.
Um, would it be possible to take out some nails in one of the corners without totally making it noticeable if there's loose boards?
Not really. The way it works, or the way it's built, rather, there's two really heavy oak beams that run the entire length of the cart, and the long sides of the cage are bolted directly to those. The boards are all nailed from the bottom to these oak beams, and then there's like a strip that runs underneath that the axles ride on. That's also bolted through the boards to the oak beams.
Let me see what
So-
metal I have that we could.
So what are you trying to do? Like just make it to where people could escape if they're in the cage? Like what?
People, us, you never know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um, I guess oh, I've got that lock. I'm gonna melt down that lock and hammer it out to a sheet of, I think it was copper, right?
Sheet of copper. What?
That lock that I bought for when we had a caged cart. Oh no, I guess I don't have that. That was still on the cart.
Yeah, and I don't think that would have been copper.
Oh,
Wouldn't be a very good lock.
no. I'm gonna see what Rindle has. Cheap metal, a knife or a sword, short sword or something. Do you have anything?
He's probably got some frying pans.
I will take a frying pan.
There you go.
I'll hammer that out, and I'll have Gidget mend the wheel.
Okay.
And I will make just a quick covering for it. Yes.
Okay.
Are the wheels rimmed with metal?
Yeah, the wheels have like iron bands around them.
I'd also like to drive in or through it a couple nails to give it a distinct wheel pattern.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Just,
Oh,
Yeah,
so
you
we
can definitely do that.
follow the tracks better.
yep.
Hmm.
Clever, clever.
We need some kind of advantage here. Yeah. And then I'll go put the wheel back on.
Well,
Yeah.
While Gidget's
You do so.
mending things, how big is an NKEG neck?
How big is an egg neck?
Yeah.
Well,
He's a baby.
yeah, and it's roughly, well, let's think. Probably like, I don't know, if you held a ruler up to the back of, like looking down at the pancake, maybe like 18 inches across. I don't know what that would be in like circumference, but
large.
yeah, good size.
You do make him a collar?
I was gonna make him a collar, and then I've got a broken bracelet that I was going to mount in the front like a fancy dog collar.
Oh my god. Okay.
What are you making it out of?
I'm gonna go buy another frying pan.
So you're gonna make him a collar of iron?
Yep.
How do we take it off?
Yeah, how are you gonna put it on? Is it like a shackle where it's got like a hinge on it?
Hinged, and then a bolt in back of some
Okay.
kind.
Well, I mean, you're proficient in blacksmithing, I assume.
Yes.
So I think you would just be able to eye it up and know the size
Oh,
that you need to do such a thing.
I'm skipping the armor for now.
Wow.
I kind of assumed.
Yeah. Since we're following, we might as well get a. Does Rindle have any chain?
No,
No. Oh.
no. He's
He's useless.
you remember you gotta basically order everything from him.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure my foot-long silver money chain would not count. We can make an NKEG look really baller.
Fuck yeah.
Fling it out.
Little gold bracelet and
I want to put spikes on his collar.
fine, I'll do spikes on the collar too. Yeah, I figure probably about an hour for the wheel, right?
Yeah, probably pretty close to that.
And then probably about an hour 15 minutes. I'll go tell them that it's done.
Yeah.
While Ulfgar was working on that, I'm gonna go to the back to the Pelor temple and fill in Elise on what's going on and leave my revised note and enough money to get a courier, and I'm gonna ask her if she'll mail that out for me and give her all the proper addressing information and whatnot, since we're gonna be leaving pretty soon.
Could you also get the cart ready to leave? We're following.
I'll do that too.
And I'll figure we'll give them maybe 45 minutes head start.
I hope one of you guys is proficient at tracking carts.
Would we have advantage with the spiked tire? Or no?
Oh boy, what?
That means yes. Don't ask again.
Would we have advantage tracking the cart if it's got that distinct tread pattern?
I would think yeah.
And I figure with all the rain, the roads have to be a little muddy. Hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. And previous cart tracks would be mostly washed away.
So walk in the park.
Well, we say that.
Well,
Yeah.
there's also 4 of us keeping an eye out for the tracks,
Right.
and if Wolfguard did as well as we hoped he did, then they shouldn't have any reason to suspect that we might be following them.
How tight were the
Optimistic.
spokes on the wheel?
Hmm?
How tight were the spokes on the wheel?
Oh, they were definitely pretty snug.
Like pattern-wise.
Oh, right. Probably 8 spokes total, so fairly wide spacing, I guess.
Would it be possible to add like a small, I guess, twig or branch of some kind that would also like drag like next to the tire on the inside?
I'm not following.
Like it was dragging a stick in the mud.
Oh, you want to like wedge something on maybe like the axle or something
Yeah.
to drag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could try. It
No
might be
one
easier
make
to tie something to like a string to the front of the cart and let that drag in the middle.
It's a bit too obvious.
Yeah. Presumably after
I'm sure they'll look at
pretty
the
much
tire anyways.
yeah, after a stranger's worked on their slave trade cart, they'll probably have a thorough look.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at the tire, and I'm gonna make the studs that I added, those on the bottom when I install the tire, that they're in the dirt.
Okay.
If I can.
Yeah,
They don't see them.
that seems doable. Sure.
Yeah, I'll go get them, and your cart's all done. Arwen taking good care of you?
Oh yes, definitely.
Hangover better?
A bit, yes.
I told you, best breakfast and hangover cure this side of this side of this side. So
I mean, we're pretty much dead center of the country.
He kind of looks up at the position of the sun and says, yes, but we really need to get going. Mustn't be late. Mustn't be late.
Well, you definitely would have been late when that tire broke.
Yeah.
Well, wheel.
Okay. Kind of still seems a little dubious, but boards the cart, and as the 2 men from before finish tying the horses on and sort of climb up onto the side of the cage. The cart takes off and disappears down the trail, or well, the road really.
I'm gonna stand there and just wave for a bit, and then.
Yeah, they don't really look back at you.
Oh. Head back to the forge and inform everybody that they've left. Are we ready to travel?
I have the cart prepared. Whenever you're ready to head off.
Little Squirt sleeping.
Is Little Squirt sleeping?
I don't know.
I mean, he wasn't moving when I brought the cart around.
Val, throw a stick.
Rip. I posted the chat a while ago asking if he was still with us and haven't gotten a response. So.
Oh, well, I haven't been paying attention to that chat. Fishy.
Yeah, he very rarely does, and I don't even know if he knows that it's there because I've messaged him in the past there, and he's totally oblivious to it. So
Oh no.
Fishy.
Oh, Liam.
Here, fishy, 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 fishy.
Liam.
Oh boy. Should I ask him about his patron a few more times?
yeah, you gotta keep him like actively discussing things, or he just drifts
Yeah.
right away.
Right.
It's actually sort of impressive how he can fall asleep when other people are talking, especially about interesting things.
Oh, damn.
That's what recaps are for. Not for the audience, for Fishy.
He's the most impressive sleeper I think ever. It's only 1:25. Heck, we just got started.
Well, that's a decent part to leave off. You can start off with the beginning of the great
Search for the Red
slave
October.
trade following.
Yeah. Oh boy.
And
Oh,
yeah,
Liam.
hopefully they don't make camp unexpectedly and we just run into them, because that would be bad.
That would be hilarious.
Oh.
Such a great idea.
Well,
Right.
I'm pretty
Okay.
sure they're on a timeline, so
Mhm.
yeah, and presumably I'll be riding ahead, so it'll just be a heavily armored, great sword wielding Goliath that rides into their midst, rather than the entire party.
Oh boy.
Alrighty, well,
thanks
I
for
guess
watching,
Fishy
and I
is
guess we'll
nice. Over.
guess we'll see everybody next week. Oh, tomorrow.
Indeed.
And we'll try to keep Fishy awake during that too.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Well, we're gonna be starting off with a presumably big fight, so maybe that'll keep his adrenaline levels high enough.
Hopefully.
Indeed. And he still owes me backstory. Said he had midterms and stuff, so I'm like, alright, I won't pressure him.
Oh, that's why he's so sleepy. He's been doing all that studying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, how do you explain all the other times then?
That's yeah.
I wasn't trying to.
Trying to give him a chance. Now he has an actual reason.
Oh, jeez.
I don't want to give him a chance. No mercy.
Aw. Well, no XP this time.
Nope. And I'm pretty sure that Omega is the only one that ever touched his dice that whole session.
Yeah.
Great RPing though. It's pretty fun.
Oh boy. I'm gonna have to
A lot
toy
more.
and set for tomorrow.
Ulfgar, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and say that you were able to finish the armor.
Oh,
Because you could use the AC.
oh wow.
Oh boy.
Well, it's less of an old boy thing and just like, you know, he's still rocking his lower level armor. So
Yeah. I mean, so am
I just chopped off a Ulfgar size cutout in the armor and strapped it on.
yeah.
Perfect.
Oh,
I could always loan you my shield. It might be a little bit big for you.
I get
Yeah.
+1 to my AC with my dual wielding.
Oh,
So I am at an 18 now with the armor, I believe. Or it's a
same as
19.
me.
No,
Without
it
my
might be a
shield.
19.
I get a +1 bonus to my AC if I'm just wearing armor in general, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah. Hmm. It's too bad that Shield of Faith is a concentration spell.
Yeah.
That's why I don't really use it. Because I like bless so much.
Well, I use it mostly because Gidget uses bless a lot,
Yeah.
and also I can throw that on you, which is a fairly flavorful thing to do as Gabby.
Yep.
Also, I can boost my AC to a 22 if I wanted to, and that's great.
Insane.
Yep. So with the plate armor, that gets me to 19. Race.
Ooh.
And the dual wield. Otherwise, it's 18. So, as long as I got 2 weapons, I'm good.
Oh boy. Yeah, and you have no shortage of weapons, so.
Nope.
I even gave him another one today.
Oh.
Which one did you give me?
Well, I didn't give it to you. But I
It's
put my
not-
sword in the pack.
That's not on my list. That's on your list.
Yeah. Although, since it's in your inventory,
You want me to put it in there?
if you want to, I didn't take it out of my inventory because it's still technically my sword, but I did take the weight classification off of it so that
I will add its weight to my bag, but not its. It won't be an item. If that makes sense. Because I take it you just grab it from me whenever we start a fight.
if I need it, I put it in there so that I could. Oh, I meant to ask you if you could, or if Wolfgar would be able to resize my scabbard for me, but I mostly put it in there because I plan on using that great sword more.
Yeah, I could probably resize it.
Well,
Great sword.
that, I tend to be close to you in combat situations, so if I needed to, I could reach into the bag and get it. Because whatever you're looking for just comes to the top of the bag, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so it'd be really easy to just reach in there and grab it. Although, it wouldn't affect the mechanics any, but it would be kind of funny to see in the middle of a fight, Gabby stooping down to Ulfgar to dig through his bag.
Yeah. Well, with the what handy haversack,
Yeah.
whatever you want is immediately on top.
Yeah.
So, which is so nice. I approve.
It's in my inventory as Gabby's greatsword.
It's a longsword.
Longsword?
Yep. The longsword I put in the bag, and the greatsword I'm keeping on me.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you're giving him like your actual usual sword and your.
Yeah, the one that was on the one that's technically on loan from me, on loan to me from the temple. I'm just keeping it in the bag. I didn't actually give it to him, but there's no point in carrying it on me if I'm not going to be using it regularly.
Right, and you're holding the other one that has the
The paralyzer juice.
Ah, okay. I thought it was the other way. Okay.
Well, I'm keeping the fancy schmancy sword.
Probably keep lesser restoration.
I had it prepared this whole time. We didn't need it this time, but
Yeah, that's fine.
I've got it prepared now after Gidget's chastising.
Yeah, and I feel bad because I really thought you had it prepared and you didn't.
It's alright. I forgive you.
Okay.
Don't forget tomorrow's stream, and let's see everybody else who watches this stream next week.
Yay.
Yeah. We
Thanks for
start
watching.
earlier tomorrow, so
Yes.
8 o'clock.
8
Liam has a
o'clock.
better chance of keeping it together.
Yeah.
8 o'clock
Hold on.
Eastern.
Yeah. Only 5 o'clock if you're me. AKA if you're lucky.
Yeah. So early.
I don't know. East Coast, Best Coast.
I mean, West Coast, Best Coast.
I disagree.
I mean, it rhymes, so it's true.
What's your opinion, bud?
Alright. I mean, I
Central
value my
Time's the
attention
best.
as always anyway.
Central Time.
What is Central? That's not.
We could all go mountain time. Just go to Idaho and eat a bunch of potatoes.
Do you love potatoes?
I mean,
Only
they're
goats use
pretty
mountain time.
great. Oh.
Rim
God
shot.
damn it.